Good afternoon or good morning, whatever it happens to be when you're watching this. I just wanted to take a couple minutes and talk to you about the subject to financing contract. We're talking about the 2008 South Carolina Association of Realtors subject to financing contract, and in particular paragraph 8, loan processing and application. I want to warn you right now, this is simply my interpretation. The finance clause is not good. Why would I say that? Well, I'm going to tell you. This is the financing paragraph right now as it applies, as it stands in our contract. And it says that the buyer's obligation under this agreement is contingent on the buyer obtaining said loan. The buyer shall apply for a maximum, whatever percentage loan to value, within blank consecutive days, and those two things are not what my topic today is about. But then it says, and shall provide seller with written satisfactory loan approval within blank consecutive days that contains no credit, income, or asset conditions, unless otherwise set forth in this contract. Time is of the essence. Okay, guys, here's the problem. As we all know, or those of us who are knowledgeable about mortgage situations, 99.9% of the time, you're not going to get loan approval with no credit, income, or asset conditions until closing. So if you put in here satisfactory loan approval within 10 days, 15 days, whatever, and that's all you do, you have a voidable contract in 99.9% of the time. Okay, so if that's the case, how do you suggest that we change this? I think there are several ways. One is that you go to the contract, this paragraph 8, you strike out the word within, and you write in the words at closing. Strike out consecutive days. Be sure to always initial and date any changes that you make on a contract. Now, this is great. This would work fine as long as the listing agent and the seller were okay with that. But many times, the listing agent and the seller are not okay with this. So, another way to look at it, or do it, is go and strike out the word within and write by, B-Y, and put the actual date of your closing. Whatever that specific date is, write that date in there, and then strike out consecutive days. Again, sometimes the listing agent and the seller don't like this, but let me caution you that if you do this, you got to be sure and keep up with this closing date. And if the loan doesn't get approved by then and that date gets pushed back, you need to do an amendment to the contract to change this date, as well as the closing date on the front of the contract. Another way to look at it is to go in here and write in the word pre-loan approval. And then you can put how many ever days you want. It would not matter at that point how many days you put. We all know the pre-loan approvals do not mean anything. They're not worth the paper that they're written on, but a lot of listing agents and a lot of sellers prefer this way. So that is another way that you can change it. Still another way is to go in and put, I don't care how many days you want to put in there. Is it 10 days, 15 days, whatever you want, as long as you strike out that contains no credit, income, or asset conditions. Because 99.9% of the times you're going to have those. Now, this seems to be the way that most listing agents and sellers prefer and will go along with. It is up to you to choose whatever way you think will work best for your buyer. If you don't do something to this contract, this paragraph, you will have a voidable contract. Sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing, but we always want to write closing contracts if at all possible. So I hope this helps you some, and that you will learn and be able to write closing contracts.